Have you ever felt the urge to leave everything behind and disappear into the wilderness? To escape the noise, the crowds, and the constant distractions of modern life? Some people don't just dream about it, they make it a reality. From homes perched on towering rock pillars to entire islands cut off from civilization, there are places where solitude isn't just a luxury, it's a way of life. These 15 homes belong to people who have taken isolation to the extreme, choosing to live far from society, surrounded only by nature and silence. But what drives someone to seek such isolation? Is it a desire for peace, survival, or something deeper? Could you live in a place where your nearest neighbor is hundreds of miles away? Let's find out. 1. Katskhi Pillar, the monk's tower in the sky. In the remote Imereti region of western Georgia stands Katskhi Pillar, a limestone monolith rising 130 feet above the ground. At the very top of this towering rock sits a tiny church built over 1,000 years ago. For centuries, it remained abandoned, forgotten by the world, until one man decided to make it his home. Meet Maxim Kavtaradze, a monk who has lived atop Katskhi Pillar since the early 1990s. His journey to isolation started after a troubled past. Following time in prison, Maxim sought redemption and spiritual clarity, dedicating himself to a life of solitude and prayer. He moved to the top of the pillar following the ancient tradition of the stylite monks, who believed that living in isolation brought them closer to God. The tiny church at the summit is more than just a place of worship. It's also his home. A small dwelling, a prayer space, and a few simple essentials make up his entire world. There is no running water, no electricity, and the only way to reach the top is by climbing a metal ladder bolted to the rock face. Supplies must be hoisted up using a pulley system, and visitors are rare, as only men are allowed to climb the ladder under strict religious customs. But despite the extreme conditions, Maxim has stayed here for decades, spending his days in prayer and self-reflection. The isolation is not just physical, it's a complete separation from modern life, offering a level of peace that most people can't even imagine. However, the Katskhi Pillar is not just a relic of the past. In recent years, it has gained international attention, drawing visitors fascinated by its history and the monks' unwavering devotion. Still, Maxim remains undisturbed, continuing his solitary life high above the ground. Living atop a towering rock may seem extreme, but for Maxim, it's a path to spiritual enlightenment. Yet he is not alone in his pursuit of solitude. Across the world, others have chosen equally extreme locations to escape the outside world, including a monastery perched even higher on the cliffs of Meteora in Greece. 2. Agia Triada Monastery, a fortress in the clouds. High above the lush valleys of Meteora, Greece, sits Agia Triada Monastery, a breathtaking retreat perched atop a massive rock formation. Built in the 14th century, this ancient monastery is one of the most extreme examples of human isolation, requiring an extraordinary effort to reach. For centuries, the only way to access Agia Triada was by a rope system and a net, where monks and supplies were hoisted up from the valley below. This was not just a practical method, it was also a security measure. In times of danger, monks would cut the ropes, ensuring that no outsiders could disturb their sanctuary. It wasn't until the early 20th century that 140 stone steps were carved into the rock, finally allowing for a slightly easier yet still demanding route to the top. Despite its dramatic location, Agia Triada remains an active monastery, home to a small number of monks who continue a life of prayer, reflection, and solitude. Their daily routine is centered around religious devotion, with minimal interaction with the outside world. The monastery itself is a marvel of medieval architecture, featuring ancient frescoes, hand-carved wooden furniture, and stunning panoramic views of the surrounding cliffs and valleys. The remoteness of Agia Triada isn't just about physical distance. It represents a way of life, a retreat from the distractions of modern civilization. Unlike other monasteries in Meteora, which have become popular tourist attractions, Agia Triada remains one of the least visited, largely due to the difficulty of the climb. But for those who do make the journey, the reward is more than just the view. It's a glimpse into a world that has barely changed in centuries, where time moves slowly and silence is sacred. For monks at Agia Triada, solitude is a choice, a path to spiritual enlightenment. But not everyone who seeks isolation does so for religious reasons. Some simply crave the peace of being completely cut off from society. And for that, there is no place on Earth more remote than a tiny island in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean. 3. Tristan da Cunha, the most remote inhabited island. Imagine living in a place where the nearest civilization is 1,750 miles away. That's the reality for the residents of Tristan da Cunha, a tiny volcanic island in the South Atlantic Ocean. Officially the most isolated inhabited place on Earth, this British overseas territory is home to just around 270 people, all living in a single village called Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. Tristan da Cunha is so remote that there is no airport, no hotels, and no tourism industry. The only way to get there is by boat, a journey that takes a full 7 days from South Africa, and even then, only a handful of ships make the trip each year. For those who call Tristan home, leaving is a rare and complicated event, often requiring months of planning. Life on the island is simple and self-sustaining. The residents grow their own food, raise livestock, and fish for survival. The community is tight-knit, and everyone knows each other. There are no shopping malls, no fast food, and no crime. Just a handful of homes, a school, a church, and a small medical facility. Despite its extreme isolation, Tristan da Cunha has modern amenities, including internet access and satellite television, though these are often unreliable due to weather conditions. The islanders have also developed a unique way of life, blending traditional skills with the few modern conveniences they have. The weather on Tristan da Cunha is another challenge. The island is frequently battered by strong winds and storms, making it one of the harshest places to live. Yet, the people here have adapted, continuing a way of life that has remained unchanged for generations. For some, the idea of living in complete isolation is unthinkable. But for the residents of Tristan da Cunha, it's home. The island represents a self-sufficient world, free from the distractions of modern society. But if you thought this was the smallest inhabited place in the world, wait until you see a home that is so tiny, it barely has enough room for a single house. 4. Just Room Enough Island, a home smaller than a tennis court. If you thought living on a remote island was extreme, imagine having a home so small that it barely fits on a patch of land. Welcome to Just Room Enough Island, a tiny piece of land in the St. Lawrence River on the border of the United States of America and Canada. This island is so small that it is officially recognized as the world's smallest inhabited island. Just Room Enough Island was purchased by the Sizeland family in the 1950s. They wanted a peaceful getaway, a place where they could escape the noise of city life and enjoy some solitude. Their solution? A small house built on a tiny island, just large enough for a house, a tree, and a tiny strip of beach. At first glance, the home looks like something from a storybook, a cozy house perched in the middle of the water, completely separated from the rest of the world. But while it may seem like the ultimate retreat, the reality is a bit different. Due to its unique size and location, the island has unintentionally become a tourist attraction. Sightseeing boats frequently pass by, with curious visitors snapping photos of the tiny home. One of the biggest challenges of living here is that there is almost no outdoor space. There is barely enough room for a small patio, and if water levels rise, the entire island can sometimes be submerged, leaving the house sitting just above the waterline. Despite its drawbacks, Just Room Enough Island remains a symbol of extreme isolation. It's proof that some people are willing to sacrifice space and convenience for peace and solitude. But while this home is tiny, some people prefer their isolation to be hidden deep within nature, blending seamlessly into the environment. This brings us to a breathtaking rainforest retreat in Brazil, where the architecture is so well integrated into the landscape that you might not even realize a house is there. 5. Guaruja Rainforest House, a glass mansion in the jungle. Hidden deep within the Atlantic rainforest of Brazil, the Guaruja Rainforest House is a masterpiece of architecture and solitude. Designed to blend seamlessly with the jungle, this house is surrounded by dense greenery, towering trees, and an unspoiled natural landscape. Unlike the previous homes, which were built for extreme simplicity, this house brings isolation and luxury together in a stunning way. The Guaruja rainforest house is made primarily of glass and concrete, allowing it to disappear into its surroundings. From the outside, it looks like a structure that naturally emerged from the landscape rather than something built by human hands. Its floor-to-ceiling glass walls give residents a breathtaking view of the jungle, making it feel as though nature itself is part of the home. Despite its secluded location, this house is not lacking in modern comforts. It features an infinity pool that overlooks the dense rainforest, an open-air living space, and a rooftop garden that allows the house to blend even further into its environment. While it is completely off the beaten path, the home is designed to maximize natural ventilation and light, making it both energy efficient and self-sustaining. Living in the Guaruja rainforest house offers complete privacy. There are no roads leading directly to the property, and the thick jungle acts as a natural barrier, ensuring that no unexpected visitors can intrude. The only sounds here come from the rustling leaves, birds, and distant waterfalls, making it a true escape from the modern world. However, living in the jungle comes with its own challenges. The dense rainforest is home to various wildlife, including insects, snakes, and tropical birds. The humid climate also makes maintaining the house a challenge, requiring constant upkeep to prevent damage from the elements. But for those who crave peace, solitude, and a deep connection to nature, the Guaruja rainforest house is a dream come true. It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to escape the outside world is to disappear entirely into the wilderness. But what if you didn't just want to be hidden in the jungle? What if you wanted to build your home into the earth itself, using massive boulders as your walls? That's exactly what one home in Portugal has done, creating one of the most unique and naturally integrated homes in the world. 6. Casa do Penedo, the real-life Flintstones house. Tucked away in the rolling hills of northern Portugal stands a house that looks like it belongs in the Stone Age. Casa do Penedo, which translates to House of the Rock, is one of the most unusual homes in the world, built entirely between four massive boulders. It blends so seamlessly with the surrounding landscape that at first glance it looks like a natural rock formation rather than a man-made dwelling. Casa do Penedo was built in the 1970s as a rural retreat for a family looking to escape the modern world. Unlike the luxury glass homes hidden in the rainforest, this house embraces raw simplicity. It has no electricity, no running water, and no modern heating system. Instead, the home is completely reliant on natural materials, with wooden furnishings and a giant stone fireplace providing warmth during cold winters. Despite its humble design, Casa do Penedo has become a point of fascination for travelers and architecture enthusiasts. The walls, made entirely of stone, offer protection from the elements, and its small windows and curved roof help it blend into the environment. However, the very thing that makes the house so special, its extreme seclusion, has also turned it into an unintended tourist attraction. Visitors regularly trek to the remote location just to take pictures of this unique home. Security has also become an issue. Over the years, the house has been targeted by vandals, forcing the owners to reinforce the windows and doors. What was once meant to be a private escape has now become a public curiosity. Still, Casa do Penedo remains a symbol of solitude and resilience, a home that embraces the raw beauty of nature without the distractions of modern life. But while this house is nestled among boulders, others take isolation to an entirely different level, by carving their homes into the walls of massive cliffs. This brings us to an extraordinary home in Utah that is not just built against a rock, but inside one. 7. Cliff Haven. A home, carved into a canyon. Deep in the desert landscape of Utah lies a home that is as much a part of the earth as the towering cliffs that surround it. Known as Cliff Haven, this remarkable dwelling is carved directly into a sandstone canyon, offering the ultimate retreat for those looking to escape the outside world. Unlike traditional homes which sit on the surface of the land, Cliff Haven is built into the rock face itself, making it naturally insulated from the harsh desert climate. The thick stone walls keep the interior cool during the scorching summers and warm in the frigid winters, creating a self-sufficient living space that requires minimal energy use. The house was originally constructed in the early 2000s by a family seeking a peaceful, off-the-grid lifestyle. They designed it to be completely self-sustaining, incorporating solar panels for electricity, a rainwater collection system, and an underground food storage area. There are no city utilities here. Everything is designed to function independently. One of the most striking features of Cliff Haven is its hidden location. The only way to reach the house is via a rugged dirt road that winds through the canyon, making it nearly invisible to anyone unfamiliar with the area. There are no neighbors, no noise, and no interruptions, just the vast, open desert stretching for miles in every direction. However, while the isolation provides peace and privacy, it also comes with challenges. The remoteness means that any supplies, medical emergencies, or repairs require careful planning. Extreme weather conditions, including flash floods and dust storms, can also pose a threat. Despite these difficulties, Cliff Haven remains a stunning example of how humans can adapt to and harmonize with nature. It's a testament to those who value independence and self-reliance over the conveniences of city life. But what if you wanted even more isolation? Not just hidden in a canyon, but completely surrounded by water. That's exactly the case with our next home, a floating villa that allows its residents to live above the sea while sleeping beneath it. 8. Floating seahorse villas, a home above and below the sea. Off the coast of Dubai, where innovation meets luxury, a new concept of isolation has emerged: floating homes that allow residents to live above the ocean while sleeping beneath the waves. Known as the floating seahorse villas, these extraordinary structures combine modern design with ultimate privacy, offering an escape that is quite literally adrift from the outside world. Unlike traditional houses, these villas are anchored to the seafloor and sit directly on the water. They are part of the World Islands Project, a collection of artificial islands designed to resemble a world map. But what makes these floating homes unique is their underwater level, a completely submerged master bedroom and bathroom with floor-to-ceiling windows that offer uninterrupted views of the surrounding marine life. Residents can fall asleep while watching fish and coral reefs, making it one of the most surreal living experiences in the world. The upper levels of the villas feature open-air terraces, sun decks, and luxurious lounges. Despite being isolated on the water, the homes come equipped with high-end amenities, including temperature-controlled rooms, smart home technology, and even private butler services. However, this level of exclusivity comes at a steep price. Each villa costs over $12 million, making it one of the most expensive ways to escape civilization. Living in the middle of the ocean offers unparalleled peace and privacy, but it also presents challenges. Harsh weather conditions, maintenance difficulties, and limited access to supplies make it a demanding lifestyle. While some might dream of floating away from society, the reality is that living at sea requires constant upkeep and planning. But what if instead of floating above the ocean, your home was nestled deep within the desert, hidden among ancient rock formations? Our next destination takes us to a house that disappears into the rugged landscape of Joshua Tree, blending seamlessly with its surroundings. 9. High Desert House, a hidden retreat among the boulders. In the heart of California's Joshua Tree National Park, where the desert stretches endlessly and giant rock formations dominate the landscape, sits an architectural masterpiece known as the High Desert House. Designed to be almost invisible, this house blends so perfectly with the surrounding boulders that from a distance it appears as if nature itself formed it. Unlike conventional homes which stand out against their environment, the High Desert House was built to integrate with the natural rock formations. Architect Kendrick Bangs Kellogg designed the structure in the 1980s, but it took nearly 30 years to fully complete. The result is a home that feels both futuristic and ancient at the same time, as if it has always belonged to the desert. The house is composed of overlapping curved concrete panels that mimic the shape of the surrounding boulders. These panels provide natural shade, keeping the interior cool even during the scorching summers. The design allows for maximum airflow, reducing the need for artificial cooling systems. Inside, the home features handcrafted wooden furniture, glass walls that offer panoramic views of the desert, and open spaces that seamlessly connect the indoors with the outdoors. One of the most fascinating aspects of the High Desert House is its sense of isolation. There are no nearby roads, no visible neighbors, and no city lights, just the vast openness of the desert. At night, the sky is filled with stars, creating an atmosphere that is both serene and surreal. Living in such a remote location comes with its own set of difficulties. The nearest town is miles away, meaning that basic necessities like groceries and medical care require careful planning. Extreme weather conditions, including sandstorms and high desert winds, can also pose challenges. But for those who crave solitude and a deep connection to nature, this house is the ultimate sanctuary. But what if instead of camouflaging your home among rocks, you wanted it to completely disappear into the trees? Our next stop takes us to a house in Sweden that is designed to be so invisible, it becomes part of the forest itself. 10. Juniper House, a home that disappears in the forest. Deep in the woodlands of Gotland, Sweden, lies a house so well hidden that most people would walk right past it without even noticing. Known as the Juniper House, this architectural marvel is designed to be almost invisible, blending seamlessly into its surroundings using a clever camouflage technique. Unlike traditional cabins or wooden lodges, the Juniper House is wrapped in a special vinyl cloth facade that mimics the textures and colors of the surrounding trees. This unique design was not just a creative choice, it was a requirement. The Swedish government has strict building regulations in areas of natural beauty, preventing modern constructions from disrupting the landscape. To comply, architects Hans Moorman and Ulla Alberts designed the home to disappear into nature, making it one of the most visually striking yet understated homes in the world. Inside, the house is a minimalist dream, featuring warm wooden interiors, large glass windows, and an open floor plan that allows natural light to flood in. The living space is small but functional, with every detail carefully crafted to maintain the balance between modern comfort and natural simplicity. The house also features a private courtyard, offering a secluded outdoor space that feels like an extension of the forest itself. Despite its beauty, the Juniper House is not for everyone. Living in near-complete isolation means dealing with the challenges of forest life, including harsh winters, wild animals, and limited access to modern conveniences. However, for those who seek solitude, the Juniper House provides the perfect retreat, a place where the only sounds are the rustling of leaves and the occasional call of a distant bird. While this hidden forest home offers a peaceful escape, some people take isolation even further by choosing to live in the middle of the ocean. Our next stop takes us to a place so remote that its only connection to land is a dangerous boat ride across the treacherous waters of the Atlantic Ocean. 11. Bishop Rock Lighthouse, the world's loneliest lighthouse. Standing alone in the vast Atlantic Ocean, 40 miles off the coast of Cornwall, United Kingdom, is the Bishop Rock Lighthouse, often called the world's loneliest lighthouse. Built on a tiny rock barely large enough to support it, this towering structure has stood as a guardian against the brutal waves and unpredictable storms of the open sea for over 160 years. The story of Bishop Rock Lighthouse is one of resilience. In the 1840s, the British government attempted to build a lighthouse on this tiny outcrop. But before it could be completed, a storm swept it away, leaving no trace of the construction efforts. Undeterred, engineers designed a stronger structure, reinforcing it with massive granite blocks held together by iron bars. The completed lighthouse, standing at over 140 feet tall, was finally lit in 1858 and has been a vital navigation aid ever since. For over a century, lighthouse keepers lived on Bishop Rock, enduring weeks of isolation at a time. Supplies were brought by boat, and the only way to access the lighthouse was by climbing a rope ladder from the turbulent sea below. Life here was harsh, cut off from the rest of the world, with nothing but the relentless ocean stretching endlessly in every direction. In the 90s, Bishop Rock Lighthouse was automated, eliminating the need for permanent residence. However, the structure remains one of the most isolated man-made buildings in the world. It continues to stand defiantly against the crashing waves, a silent witness to the untamed power of the sea. While Bishop Rock offers extreme solitude, it is not the only place where people have found peace in the middle of nowhere. Some prefer the vast emptiness of the desert, where the only company is the shifting sands and the whispering wind. Our next stop takes us to a hidden oasis in the Sahara, where life has continued unchanged for thousands of years. 12. Siwa Oasis, the hidden paradise in the Sahara. Deep within the Sahara Desert, surrounded by endless sand dunes and ancient landscapes, lies one of the most remote and self-sustaining communities in the world, Siwa Oasis. Located in western Egypt near the Libyan border, this isolated settlement has remained largely untouched by modern civilization, offering its residents a life of peace and simplicity away from the chaos of the outside world. Siwa Oasis has been home to a small population for thousands of years, with its earliest recorded history dating back to ancient Egyptian times. It was once an essential stop along desert trade routes, known for its fresh water springs and fertile land. The oasis is famous for its vast groves of olive trees and date palms, which provide the primary sources of food and income for the local Berber community. What makes Siwa truly remarkable is its ability to sustain life in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The settlement is built around natural freshwater springs, which supply the community with clean drinking water and allow agriculture to flourish. The buildings are made using traditional mud brick construction, helping to regulate temperatures in the scorching heat of the desert. Life in Siwa is simple and deeply connected to tradition. Unlike the bustling cities of Egypt, Siwa has managed to maintain its cultural identity, with its own dialect, unique customs, and a way of life that has remained unchanged for generations. Many residents still rely on ancient farming techniques, and transportation through the oasis is often done using donkey carts rather than cars. Despite its remoteness, Siwa Oasis has gained attention for its historical significance. Alexander the Great famously visited the oasis in the 4th century BC to consult the Oracle of Amun, a sacred site that still stands today. However, tourism remains minimal, allowing the community to preserve its peaceful way of life. While Siwa Oasis offers a hidden paradise in the desert, some prefer to take isolation to the extreme, not just living in a remote location, but carving their homes directly into the cliffs. Our next destination is a home that blends so seamlessly with the earth that it feels like part of the mountain itself. 13. Casa Brutale, the cliffside home with a glass pool roof. High above the Aegean Sea, embedded into the face of a rugged cliff, lies one of the most extraordinary and secluded home designs ever conceived, Casa Brutale. Unlike traditional cliffside houses that sit on top of the landscape, this architectural masterpiece is carved directly into the rock, making it nearly invisible from above. Casa Brutale was designed as a conceptual project by Open Platform for Architecture, a Greek architecture firm that envisioned a home that would merge with nature rather than disrupt it. The structure is built entirely within the cliffside, with its roof functioning as a massive infinity pool. The pool's reflective surface blends with the sky, making the house almost undetectable from aerial views. The interior is as dramatic as the exterior. The living space is enclosed by thick concrete walls, creating a bunker-like atmosphere that offers total privacy and protection from the elements. A floor-to-ceiling glass wall at the cliff's edge provides breathtaking, unobstructed views of the sea below, giving the residents a constant connection to nature while maintaining complete isolation. Despite its raw and brutalist design, Casa Brutale is meant to be a self-sustaining retreat. The thick walls offer natural insulation, keeping the home cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Its underground construction also provides excellent protection against strong winds and extreme weather conditions, making it one of the most resilient home concepts ever imagined. However, while Casa Brutale has gained worldwide recognition, it has yet to be fully built. Though several developers have shown interest in bringing this ambitious project to life, it remains a concept for now. But its design has inspired a new way of thinking about extreme isolation, where the home itself becomes part of the earth, offering both security and seclusion. But what if instead of hiding inside a mountain, you wanted to disappear into a dense forest surrounded by miles of untouched wilderness? Our next destination takes us to a hidden retreat in Colorado, where the only neighbors are towering pine trees and the occasional wild animal. 14. Castile Creek Retreat, the ultimate forest hideaway. Deep in the wilderness of Colorado, hidden among towering pine trees and rugged mountain landscapes, sits Castile Creek Retreat, a private sanctuary designed for those who truly want to escape the outside world. Spanning 250 acres of untouched land, This isolated mansion offers complete privacy, surrounded by nothing but nature. Unlike many remote homes that focus on simplicity, Castile Creek Retreat embraces both solitude and luxury. The main residence is a massive 30,000 square foot log cabin-style home, featuring handcrafted wooden interiors, floor-to-ceiling windows, and multiple stone fireplaces. Despite being completely immersed in nature, the house is equipped with modern amenities, including a fully stocked game room, a movie theater, and even an indoor shooting range. However, what sets Castile Creek Retreat apart is its commitment to total seclusion. The property includes multiple guest houses, a private security system, and an underground escape tunnel, ensuring that visitors can come and go without ever being seen. The nearest town is miles away, and the only way to reach the estate is by a private road that winds through the dense forest. While the retreat offers unparalleled peace and privacy, life here requires a certain level of self-sufficiency. The harsh winters of Colorado can make access difficult, and the remote location means that supplies must be carefully planned. Yet for those who crave solitude, Castile Creek Retreat is the perfect escape, a place where the modern world fades away, leaving only the sounds of the wind, the rustling trees, and the occasional call of wildlife. But what if your home was not only hidden but designed to disappear entirely, blending into its surroundings so perfectly that it became almost invisible? Our final destination takes us to a house in Greece that uses architecture and illusion to create the ultimate hidden retreat. 15. Mirage House, a home that vanishes into the landscape. On the Greek island of Tinos, perched on the edge of a steep cliff, lies one of the most visually stunning homes ever designed, the Mirage House. Unlike traditional homes that stand out against the landscape, this house is built to disappear, merging seamlessly with the earth through a clever architectural illusion. The most striking feature of Mirage House is its infinity pool, which stretches across the entire roof of the structure. The reflective water mirrors the sky, making it nearly impossible to detect the house from above. From a distance, all that can be seen is the shimmering pool, giving the illusion that the home itself has vanished into the horizon. The house is embedded directly into the cliffside, ensuring maximum privacy and protection from the elements. Its design focuses on simplicity and minimalism, with raw concrete walls, floor-to-ceiling glass doors, and an open-air layout that connects the indoor and outdoor spaces effortlessly. Every detail is designed to enhance the feeling of isolation, offering uninterrupted views of the Aegean Sea with no signs of civilization in sight. Despite its hidden nature, Mirage House is not just about aesthetics. Its underground construction helps regulate temperature naturally, keeping it cool in the summer and insulated in the winter. Solar panels provide energy, making it a sustainable retreat that requires minimal outside resources. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.